Hey guys, this is John Watts. I want to talk to you today about the stages of an Alabama foreclosure. Right now, there should not really be any foreclosures going on in Alabama, although I do see some mortgage companies that are certainly have scheduled foreclosures even this month. But let's just talk in general because there are a lot of people reaching out to my firm worried about a foreclosure. And the first thing we need to do is figure out, well, where are you in that process? So there's three stages to foreclosure. The first is before the foreclosure, and then you have the actual foreclosure itself. That's where your property is sold outside the front entrance of the courthouse. And then there's after the foreclosure. So let's briefly talk about those, and then we'll do a separate video on each one of those stages. So before the foreclosure, this is when your mortgage company says, hey, look, you're in default. It might be not making payments, not keeping homeowners insurance, not paying taxes, whatever it is. You're in default. And we're telling you that you're in default. We're giving you a chance to fix it or cure it. And if you don't do that, we'll accelerate it. And then we'll advertise. Acceleration means it's all due right now. Then we'll advertise it in the paper, and then we will actually sell it. So if you don't have a foreclosure sale set, then you're certainly in the first stage of the foreclosure process. If you've just gotten some letters saying, hey, you're behind or we're accelerating your loan, again, you're in that before the foreclosure stage. Now, the actual foreclosure itself, again, that's where they're standing at the courthouse, the steps of the courthouse, the front entrance to the courthouse. And what we look for there is, are they doing it at the right location? Sometimes they'll schedule them and actually try and do them at the wrong location. They have to do it at the right location. They have to do it during the right time. So in Alabama and most states, there's something called legal hours for a foreclosure. So it's not just any time during the day. It's a very set period of time when they can do the foreclosure. If they do it too early, the foreclosure is no good. If they do it too late, foreclosure is no good. So it has to be the right place, the right time, and it has to be the right person doing it. In other words, a company that's selling your property, they have to be the right company to do it, have the right to do that. And if we go back to the before the foreclosure, all those steps have to be done correctly. If any one of those steps is defective, the whole thing falls apart and they have no right to foreclose. All right, well, what's the after foreclosure? So remember, we got before the actual foreclosure and then after the foreclosure. That's where you get a letter saying, hey, we foreclosed on you. We now own the property. You need to get out. We have things called right of redemption and then ejectment lawsuits. So what are those? Right of redemption is your ability to redeem or buy back your property, basically for the amount paid plus any interest since the foreclosure sale and any improvements that were made on the property. Now, if you're staying in your house after foreclosure, and you have the right to do that until you lose the ejectment lawsuit. But talking about the redemption, if you stay in your house, then they're not going to have made any improvements on your property. If you leave and they come in and they put a new roof because the roof was leaking, they do all these improvements, you may owe them for that if you want to redeem the property. So again, you get a letter saying, you got to get out because I now own the house. You have this right to redeem during a certain time period. It depends on when your mortgage was entered into, whether it's 6 months or 12 months. And then third is the ejectment lawsuit. So if you don't get out of the house, usually within 10 days of getting that letter, what's called a vacate letter, then you'll be sued for ejectment. Same thing as eviction. We just use the term in Alabama, eviction, for when you're renting. Ejectment is when it's after a foreclosure. They're trying to eject you, evict you out of the house. And it's just like a normal lawsuit. You get that, it's filed in what's called circuit court. So you're served with that. You have 30 days to respond. And if you respond, now a judge is going to look at all this. See, no judge looked at it before the foreclosure. No judge was there at the foreclosure itself. That's all done just by the mortgage company. Well, now in an ejectment lawsuit, a judge will be looking at the foreclosure. And so those are the three stages: before the actual foreclosure and then after the foreclosure. And again, we'll go through those in more detail, but I just wanted to give you this big picture because if you are worried about your mortgage company, maybe you're late, maybe you have a foreclosure schedule, or maybe you've been foreclosed. When you reach out to a lawyer, for example, if you contact my firm, it helps us to know, where are you? Did you miss your first payment, or did you get sued for ejectment 45 days ago? I mean, there's a big difference in what your options are. So it's good to be able to sort of put yourself in, I'm in the before the foreclosure, during the foreclosure, after the foreclosure. Now, if you're watching this and you're not living in Alabama, understand your state may be different. Broadly speaking, there are non-judicial foreclosure states. That's what Alabama is. So no judge is involved up until the foreclosure, including the foreclosure itself. Then you have places like Florida, which are judicial foreclosures. So they have to actually sue you and win that lawsuit to be able to foreclose. So you have to understand in your state what those stages are. But in Alabama, we have the before, the foreclosure, and after foreclosure. And I appreciate you watching this video. If you have any questions and you live in Alabama, feel free to give us a call, 205-879-2447 or alabamaconsumer.com. I appreciate you watching this, and see you soon. Bye-bye.